Here's my thing. This is what I've been saying. The moves, again, in a vacuum are good. In a vacuum, all the moves you made, they've been good moves. Like, I can't look at a move and be like, that move, what the fuck are they doing? There's been some moves so far, you're like, what are they doing? Like, why would they make that trade? Or why would they sign that guy that much money? They haven't done any of that. And I can't, and this is what I was saying with one of my friends earlier. You can't be mad at this current front office. You can't. This has been years in the making. This has been years in the making. You had no good trade assets whatsoever to speak of. You haven't really taken the draft or player development, all of that seriously. So you don't have really any good quality young assets on your team. And you fucked up by giving out terrible contracts. Like the Dwight Powell contract was so bad. The KP contract's terrible. You had to do it. I get that. So this has been years in the making. So like me being frustrated at this offseason for the Mavs isn't like me being like, oh my God, Nico Harrison's a bust. He sucks. He's been terrible. Like I'm not saying that. It's been years in the making. And it's partially why I'm not yelling and shit, because I expected this. Like, there wasn't much for the Mavs to do this offseason. You know what I mean? And it's also, the Kristaps Porzingis trade ruined you. It ruined you. Because you were already, like, you burned pretty much every single asset you had on that KP trade. And when the trade did not work out, you know, you got Tim Hardaway back in return. That's good. You know, Tim Hardaway is definitely a plus player. I would say you got, in that trade deal so far, what did the Knicks get? So the Knicks had the Mavs pick this year. That was the first year they had. They ended up trading that pick, right? Did they even pick with that pick? Anyways, out of all the players that were involved in that trade, the Mavs definitely had the best two. But some other teams can survive terrible trades. The Mavs can't, because you just got rid of all of your assets and you have done zero asset. You've done nothing to obtain more assets over the past few years. So once KP failed and you needed to make other moves to adjust, right? You needed we need an actual legitimate number two, and maybe bringing in a legitimate number two can expand our team even more, because then KP goes to a smaller role as a three, and maybe he sells in that role, and all this other stuff happens. The snowball effect. Luka doesn't need the ball in his hands that much. He's much more effective in the fourth quarter. All of this stuff happens. You can't do that because you don't have shit. You literally can't, like, that's why I'm not that mad at this front office this year. You can't make moves. They can't do anything. They're literally handcuffed by the terrible, terrible, terrible roster building techniques of this team over the past 10 years. This team moves and operates as if they are located in Miami or they are located in Los Angeles. They are located in Dallas, Texas. And listen, I've seen some people slandering Dallas, Texas on the timeline over the past couple of days. That's not cool. Dallas, Texas is a great city, okay? You'd be lucky to live here. But it's not a destination, and this team acts like it is. This team needs to move like the Milwaukee Bucks move. This team needs to move like the Phoenix Suns move. This team needs to move like the Utah Jazz. They need to focus on player development. They need to focus on the draft. They need to focus on trades. Fuck free agency. It has never worked out for you, and it never will. That dream is dead. And you know what? It never even lived. That's what's actually hilarious and sad. It never even lived. You know, if the Mavs had hit a home run free agency signing in like the early 2010s and Mark was still just holding on to that, then maybe I would understand. But they've never made a move. Like, they've never signed any big guy in free agency. So why are they still moving this way? It's just mind-boggling. It is just, I can't even fathom it. It doesn't make any sense. The trade was good. The contract is bad. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Honestly, we don't even know yet, because the main point of the trade was... the draft picks mainly. So we'll see how those end up panning out. Here's how great our offseason so far. We signed Tim Hardaway Jr. for $14 million less than he's worth. Knicks fans would love to have got Bullock for 3 years, 30. Sterling Brown worth it for 2 years. Moses Brown, A+. So that's what I'm saying. All these moves in a vacuum are good. They don't really move the needle in the way that you want. Because look at it this way. The Mavs are in a different realm now. This isn't like the late 2010s or mid 2010s when Dirk was, Dirk wasn't Dirk anymore, and you're trying to build, but the stakes really aren't that high because you have you have your superstars in the twilight years of his career. You're just kind of riding it out at this point, right? You obviously want to build a contender, but the stakes aren't that high. The stakes are very high now. Once Lucas puts pen to paper on that max extension, and it even sounds like that he wants to do like a 3-year extension, so in 2024 he can be unrestricted, you are on the fucking clock immediately. There is no time to waste. You can't be sitting here like, oh, maybe next year, guys, next offseason. And then you had, there was another report I wanted to talk about. You had some rumors flying around that the reason this Kyle Lowry trade was held up, again, I don't know if this is true or not, was because the Mavericks actually didn't want to trade Dwight Powell because they love him and he's great for the community. Fuck you. Fuck you. Mark Cuban does seem to love him. This team just is so fake with their loyalty. I talked about this when I talked about my Rick Carlisle video. This team is so fake when it comes to loyalty. This is the same team that traded a beloved member of the community, Harrison Barnes, in the middle of the game while he was sitting on the bench. Most awkward shit in NBA history. The camera was literally zooming in on him in the third quarter. He's just sitting there. His ass just got traded. Terrible. Team's not loyal, dude. They're loyal when they want to be, and then they pretend they're loyal. But actually, the funny thing is, nobody cares. This is not a loyal league. Nobody cares. You're not attracting any free agents by being loyal. By being the guardians of loyalty. Nobody cares. Have you not noticed this?